Most men are searching for some dramatic secret to transform their performance in the bedroom, some rare supplement or extreme technique, when the real shift often begins in the quietest hour of the night, in a simple ritual that calms the body, awakens circulation, and reconnects a man with his own masculine energy before he ever closes his eyes. The truth is that performance is not built in a single heated moment of passion. It is built in the hours before, in how a man treats his body, his stress, his hormones, and even his thoughts, and a carefully designed nighttime oil routine can become a powerful anchor that strengthens stamina, sensitivity, confidence, and emotional presence all at once. When we talk about men's performance, we are not just talking about physical endurance. We are talking about blood flow, nerve responsiveness, hormonal balance, mental clarity, and emotional safety. Because intimacy is never purely mechanical, it is deeply biological and psychological at the same time. The body thrives on rhythm, and nighttime is when testosterone production peaks, when tissues repair, when the nervous system resets, and when the parasympathetic state, the calm and restorative mode, becomes dominant, which makes this the ideal window to support male vitality through intentional touch and nourishing oils. The foundation of this routine begins with warmth, because warmth signals safety to the body, and safety allows blood vessels to relax and expand. After a warm shower or even a warm towel, compress around the lower abdomen and pelvic region. Circulation naturally improves, and this is where the right oils begin to matter. Natural oils such as cold-pressed coconut oil, sesame oil, black seed oil, or olive oil have long histories in traditional wellness systems because they provide skin nourishment, reduce friction, and when gently massaged into the lower abdomen, inner thighs, and pelvic floor region, they stimulate microcirculation and awaken nerve endings without aggression. The key is not intensity, but consistency and awareness. A slow circular motion around the lower belly supports digestive relaxation and indirectly benefits hormonal regulation, because the gut and testosterone production are more connected than most men realize. Light upward strokes along the inner thighs toward the groin encourage lymphatic drainage and blood flow, which over time can enhance firmness and responsiveness. Gentle massage around, but not forcefully on the most sensitive areas, improves oxygen delivery to tissues, and oxygen is what fuels endurance. When blood flows freely and nerves are well nourished, performance naturally improves. But the deeper power of this nighttime oil ritual lies in how it retrains the nervous system. Many men unknowingly carry performance anxiety in their bodies. The shoulders stay tight, breathing remains shallow, and the pelvic floor becomes tense instead of responsive. A nightly 5 to 10 minute oil massage, done slowly, with deep breathing, signals the body to release tension. Inhale deeply through the nose, expanding the belly. Exhale slowly through the mouth, allowing the pelvic muscles to soften. This breathing pattern increases nitric oxide production, which directly supports vascular dilation, meaning stronger and more sustainable erections over time. Stress is one of the biggest enemies of male performance, and cortisol, the stress hormone, competes with testosterone. By creating a calming ritual before bed, cortisol levels drop, sleep quality improves, and testosterone naturally stabilizes. Over weeks, not days, this consistency can translate into noticeable differences in morning firmness, stamina, and overall drive. The oils themselves also support skin elasticity and sensitivity. As men age, reduced circulation and dryness can dull sensation. A nourished, hydrated skin surface improves tactile awareness, which enhances pleasure for both partners. When sensation improves, a man does not need to rely on excessive stimulation or speed. He becomes more attuned, more controlled, more present. Presence is attractive. Presence builds intimacy, and intimacy amplifies performance far beyond physical technique. There is also a powerful psychological shift that occurs when a man takes time to care for his own body. Instead of seeing performance as something to prove, he begins to see it as something to cultivate. That mindset alone reduces pressure. When pressure drops, performance rises. Many men sabotage themselves by mentally rehearsing failure. The nighttime oil routine can become a mental reset. As the oil warms in the hands, a man can consciously release comparison, fear, or past embarrassment. He can focus on gratitude for his body, even if it is not perfect. Gratitude changes physiology. It reduces sympathetic overdrive and supports parasympathetic dominance, which is essential for arousal. Blood cannot flow optimally when the body thinks it is under threat. Relaxation is not weakness, it is power. In traditional wellness systems, the pelvic region is considered a reservoir of masculine vitality. When neglected, energy feels low, motivation drops, and desire fades. When nurtured, confidence subtly rises. The ritual does not need to be complicated. A teaspoon of oil warmed between the palms. Slow breathing. Intentional touch. 5 to 10 minutes. Consistency every night. Over time, the body begins to associate nighttime with restoration rather than stress. Sleep deepens, morning energy improves, libido becomes more stable instead of unpredictable. Some men notice stronger morning erections within weeks, which is a sign of improved vascular health. Others notice greater control during intimacy because their pelvic floor is more relaxed yet responsive. Performance is not about being aggressive. It is about being regulated. A regulated nervous system responds better, lasts longer, and feels more pleasure. The beauty of this routine is that it integrates physical nourishment, hormonal support, stress reduction, and psychological confidence into one simple practice. It is not a miracle shortcut, but it is a powerful foundation. And foundations determine everything that stands upon them. If you begin to see your nighttime routine not as a mindless scroll through your phone, but as a sacred preparation for your future intimacy, everything shifts. Your body listens to how you treat it. Your hormones respond to how you sleep. Your confidence grows from the rituals you keep. The nighttime oil routine becomes more than oil on skin. It becomes a daily reminder that your performance is something you build quietly, intentionally, and patiently, long before the lights go out in someone else's bedroom. As this ritual becomes consistent, something subtle but powerful begins to happen beneath the surface, and it has less to do with the oil itself and more to do with how the body responds to repeated signals of safety and nourishment. The male body is highly responsive to conditioning. If a man spends his nights overstimulated by screens, tense from work, and mentally racing, his nervous system remains in a mild fight or flight state even as he lies in bed. In that state, blood flow prioritizes survival muscles rather than reproductive organs, digestion slows, and hormonal recovery is disrupted. But when he replaces that chaos with a predictable calming ritual, the body begins to anticipate restoration. Over time, this anticipation alone can trigger relaxation responses the moment the oil touches the skin. The brain loves patterns, and when the pattern becomes oil, breath, warmth, and stillness, the entire system aligns with recovery. This alignment directly impacts performance because erectile quality is fundamentally vascular. Healthy blood vessels require elasticity, and elasticity improves when inflammation is reduced and circulation is regularly stimulated. Gentle nightly massage acts almost like light exercise for the microvascular network in the pelvic region, encouraging flexibility and responsiveness. It is not about force or intensity, because excessive pressure can irritate tissues and create tension. It is about rhythmic, mindful stimulation that encourages expansion and release. Think of it as training the body to relax into arousal rather than strain toward it. Many men unknowingly contract their pelvic floor muscles throughout the day, especially under stress. Chronic contraction restricts blood flow and reduces sensitivity. During the oil routine, bringing awareness to this region and consciously relaxing those muscles can retrain them. A simple technique involves inhaling deeply, feeling the lower abdomen expand, and imagining the pelvic floor gently dropping rather than tightening. On the exhale, instead of clenching, allow the area to soften further. Over time, this practice enhances control, because true control is not about squeezing harder, but about knowing how to relax on command. That balance between engagement and release is what sustains endurance during intimacy. There is also a hormonal layer that deserves attention. Testosterone production is closely tied to sleep quality, and sleep quality improves when the body feels calm and regulated before bed. Oils such as sesame and olive contain antioxidants that support skin health and reduce oxidative stress on the surface. But the greater impact comes from the ritual reducing overall stress load. Lower stress means lower cortisol, and lower cortisol allows testosterone to do its job more effectively. When testosterone levels are stable, libido becomes more consistent, mood improves, and motivation returns. This is why men who adopt a calming nighttime practice often report not just better performance, but stronger desire and confidence throughout the day. Confidence itself is a performance enhancer. When a man feels grounded in his body, he approaches intimacy differently. He is less rushed. He listens more. He maintains eye contact longer. He becomes responsive rather than reactive. The oil routine fosters that grounded state because it reconnects him to physical sensation without external pressure. In a world that constantly pulls attention outward, this inward focus is rare and powerful. It builds awareness of subtle changes in arousal, allowing a man to pace himself more effectively. When sensation increases gradually rather than explosively, endurance naturally improves. Another overlooked benefit of this practice is improved skin resilience. The genital region contains delicate tissue that can become dry or irritated, especially with age, friction, or environmental factors. Consistent moisturizing improves suppleness, which enhances comfort during intimacy and reduces the likelihood of minor abrasions or sensitivity loss. Healthy skin supports healthy nerve endings, and healthy nerve endings translate into richer sensation. That richness means less need for intensity and more ability to enjoy slower, deeper connection. Slowness is often misunderstood as weakness, but in intimacy, slowness can amplify tension and pleasure simultaneously. The oil routine conditions the body to appreciate slower stimulation, which directly benefits partnered experiences. There is also an emotional component that often goes unspoken. Many men have been conditioned to view their sexual function as a test, pass or fail, perform or disappoint. That mindset creates internal pressure that interferes with natural arousal. When a man spends time caring for his body without judgment, he begins to shift from performance anxiety to self-respect. Self-respect radiates outward. A partner can sense when a man is comfortable in his own skin. That comfort builds trust, and trust deepens arousal for both people. Attraction is not just about physical capability, it is about emotional safety. The nighttime oil routine quietly reinforces emotional safety because it teaches a man to treat himself gently rather than critically. This gentleness does not reduce masculinity, it strengthens it by integrating strength with awareness. Some men choose to enhance this ritual with subtle lifestyle adjustments that magnify its effects. Hydration throughout the day supports blood volume. Light evening stretching of the hips and lower back reduces pelvic tension. Reducing heavy meals close to bedtime improves sleep depth. All of these amplify the oil routine's impact because they support the same goal: improve circulation, hormonal balance, and nervous system regulation. When combined, these habits create a compounding effect. Weeks turn into months, and the changes become noticeable not only in the bedroom, but in posture, mood, and overall vitality. There is also something deeply psychological about ending the day with intention rather than distraction. Instead of falling asleep to random noise, a man ends his day by investing in his own strength. That investment builds quiet pride. Pride builds confidence. Confidence changes how he walks into intimate moments. He is no longer hoping his body will cooperate. He trusts that he has been supporting it consistently. Trust reduces fear. Reduced fear allows full arousal. Full arousal enhances performance naturally without strain. The body responds best when it feels supported rather than forced. And this is the core truth of the nighttime oil routine. It is not about instant transformation, but about steady cultivation. It teaches patience, it builds awareness, it strengthens circulation. It stabilizes hormones, it deepens sleep, it reduces anxiety. It improves sensitivity. Each of these alone matters, but together they create a powerful shift in masculine vitality. Over time, the ritual becomes less about boosting performance and more about honoring the body as an integrated system of blood, breath, hormones, and emotion. When these systems work in harmony, performance becomes a natural expression rather than a stressful effort. And as this harmony strengthens, something even more meaningful begins to emerge, a deeper connection between physical capability and emotional presence that transforms intimacy into something richer and more fulfilling than simple stamina ever could be. What ultimately transforms this simple practice into something profound is not just what it does for the body, but what it awakens in a man's identity. When a man commits to caring for his vitality each night, he begins to experience himself differently. He no longer sees performance as something fragile that could fail him at any moment. Instead, he understands that his body responds to leadership, attention, and consistency. That realization alone dissolves a surprising amount of hidden anxiety. Anxiety is often the invisible barrier between desire and performance. The mind rushes ahead, imagining outcomes, measuring itself against past experiences, worrying about expectations. But when the body has been regularly soothed, nourished, and conditioned to relax under touch, arousal becomes less about mental effort and more about natural response. The nervous system, trained nightly to soften through breath and warmth, begins to default to calm readiness instead of tension. Calm readiness is powerful because it allows blood flow to rise steadily and sustainably rather than spike and collapse. This steadiness directly influences endurance. Many performance challenges stem from overstimulation and lack of regulation rather than lack of desire. When sensation builds too quickly without control, the experience becomes short-lived. The oil routine, combined with deep breathing, subtly teaches the body to tolerate rising sensation without panic. That tolerance translates into longer-lasting intimacy because the nervous system no longer interprets arousal as something overwhelming. Instead, it feels familiar and manageable. Over months, this familiarity strengthens a man's confidence in ways that no quick fix ever could. He begins to trust his body's timing. He feels more in command of his breathing. He recognizes early signs of tension and can soften them before they escalate. That awareness is transformative because it shifts intimacy from reactive to intentional. Intention changes everything. When a man enters intimacy with intention rather than fear, his presence deepens. Presence enhances connection. Connection amplifies pleasure for both partners. The body is not separate from emotion. They move together. When stress is reduced nightly, mood stabilizes. When mood stabilizes, patience increases. Patience allows for deeper foreplay, better communication, and stronger emotional safety. Emotional safety, in turn, heightens arousal far more effectively than urgency ever could. There is also a cumulative vascular benefit that develops quietly in the background. Consistent stimulation of circulation supports endothelial health, which is the lining of blood vessels responsible for dilation. Healthy dilation means stronger, firmer, and more reliable erections. This is not about exaggeration or unrealistic expectations. It is about optimizing what the body is already designed to do. When the vascular system is supported, when sleep is deep, when hormones are balanced, when stress is managed, performance becomes a reflection of overall wellness rather than isolated effort. That holistic foundation makes results more sustainable. Sustainability is the difference between temporary improvement and lasting confidence. Another layer of transformation comes from the relationship a man builds with his own touch. Touch without urgency. Touch without judgment. Touch without comparison. In that space, he reconnects with sensation in a way that is grounded rather than compulsive. This grounded awareness improves control because he becomes sensitive to subtle changes in arousal levels. He can adjust rhythm, breathing, and pace naturally. This adaptability is one of the most attractive qualities in intimacy. It communicates attentiveness and strength simultaneously. And as this adaptability grows, so does mutual satisfaction. When a man is attuned to his own body, he becomes more attuned to his partner's responses. He notices breathing shifts, muscle tension, and emotional cues. This heightened awareness elevates the entire experience from purely physical to deeply connected. The nighttime oil routine may seem small, almost simple to the point of being underestimated, but simplicity practiced consistently becomes power. It creates a daily checkpoint where a man returns to himself. In that quiet moment before sleep, he is not chasing approval or proving anything. He is investing in his vitality. That investment accumulates. Weeks become months. The body feels stronger. Morning energy improves. Libido becomes more stable. Erections feel more reliable. Control feels more natural. Confidence feels earned rather than forced. And perhaps most importantly, intimacy begins to feel less like a test and more like an expression of health and connection. This is the deeper message of the nighttime oil routine. It is not magic. It is not instant. It is not a replacement for medical care when needed. It is a foundational habit that supports circulation, hormones, relaxation, and self-trust all at once. When those pillars are strong, performance follows. When performance follows naturally, anxiety fades. When anxiety fades, intimacy becomes richer, slower, more powerful. In the end, boosting men's performance is not about chasing intensity. It is about cultivating balance, warmth before sleep, breath before rest, touch without pressure, consistency without impatience. Through this ritual, a man strengthens not only his body, but his relationship with his own masculinity. And when a man feels steady within himself, his presence in intimacy becomes confident, grounded, and deeply attractive. The quiet work done each night becomes the unseen strength behind every passionate moment, proving that true performance is built in stillness long before it is revealed in motion.